Carmelita, and I'm an addict. I would only ask that if you don't want to listen to me, please leave, because I can hear you all the way up here. I want you to know first that Narcotics Anonymous is my life. And that every time I come to such a place in this fellowship where we still read, we need to hear what is being said. It is only through the readings that I was able to find a place in Narcotics Anonymous. I want to thank first the convention committee and some that are very special in my life who asked me to come out and share at this event. I want them to know, as well as each of you, that they did a damn good job. Thank you. I also want to thank some of the people that I've seen since I arrived that knew me many years ago. My first convention was in Miami, Florida, and I saw two of my friends here, and I certainly appreciate them being here. And the one thing they said to me was, Carmelita, I love you. To Terry and Leah, thank you. I also have friends that I've met along the road, and one that spent some time with me to help me to know that I have nothing to fear about standing up here tonight. I want to say thank you to Mona. And I know wherever you are out there, you know that you're with me. Some of you will never understand in words what this program has done for me. At 35 years of age, for once in my life, I made a decision, and it was the best decision I ever made, and that was to get me some help. I had spent my last night out on the strip with 5 other junkies just like myself, and I used all night long, and nothing seemed to work. I had to walk out of that place bright and early with the sun shining one morning, and I said, I've got to go do something. That was my first rude awakening. And I went to a program that was 24 months long, and they were the kind of people who did not want to hear anything from me, and I had to listen to everything they said. And the first thing they said to me, and I'm going to have to beg your pardon because I don't mean to offend anyone, but I have to tell the truth. The way I was addressed is the way I understood it on the street. And they said, bitch, have a seat in the corner. I sit for 8 hours in front of this sign that said, don't blow this chance. And I want you to know, folks, I have not blown this chance. To all of those, and to the female who was the director of that program, who died a few years ago, I know she knows that her work was not in vain, because I have been doing as she taught me to do. When I came back to the street, in our little town, we didn't have a whole lot of anything, but I was told one day to go to a meeting. I was asked if I was an alcoholic, and I did not answer the question, and I went to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I thank God every day, because in my town, I would have been dead by now. They held me close. I had nothing to say in the meetings, but they talked to me. And they gave me the principles on how to live a life one day at a time. They sent me to a special meeting where I finally met my sponsor, And I don't know how anybody in this program make it without a sponsor. You have to have someone that know more than you know. And I have no problem with that. I have learned how to appreciate people who have knowledge, who have wisdom, who know how to do things, because I did not before I came here. And when I met this woman, she was sharing one night at a meeting, and she talked about being in the pits of hell. And it seemed like while she was talking, her body just made that right kind of movement. And then she was saying, I thank God for all the blessings. Her tears turned to smiles. And I said, oh God, if I could just get a little bit of that, I'll be all right. And she told me that night when I said, you're going to be my sponsor, she said, I'll be your friend. And my sponsor has been my friend since the first day I met her. She sit up with me night and day. She walked with me night and day. She listened to my pain. And never once did she tell me what I had to do. She just said, Carmelita, it's going to be all right. And I believed her. I had a sponsor that walked like she talked. And when you come from where I come from, a woman who lost her soul in the street, who gave up everything, children, husband, home, family, and last but not least, I gave up my soul. I did whatever necessary to get right here. And for those of you who don't know, I did everything right to make it to Narcotics Anonymous. You may not understand that, but when everybody else is shutting the door, this is one place where the door is open. So I came in with all of my shame, with all of my disgust, and people just reached out for me. I could not talk when I got here. I didn't know what to say or who to talk to. My sponsor would say, Carmelita, everything's going to be all right. And there was a time when I said to Doreen, when is the pain going to stop? She said, Carmelita, everything's going to be all right. Every day of my life, that woman shared with me the God of her understanding. And she said, if you believe, Carmelita, it'll be all right. So I walked with her. I went wherever she went. And it was not the places that I wanted to go. And the first place she went to was church. And I really wasn't there at that particular time in my life. I ain't there now, to be honest about it. I come to Narcotics Anonymous. But when I went with Doreen, I could see this woman who had one life. She was not living in one place as one person and somewhere else as another. She was always Doreen. And right now I know that she is saying a prayer for me. I spent the last weekend in New Orleans with her, and she just told me once again, Carmelita, you go and everything's going to be all right. Now let me tell you about this dope fiend woman. I have the responsibility of sharing with you my life and using the right kind of language. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to tell you this much. When you hurt like I hurt, when you suffer for 35 years for nothing, God knows I'm grateful today that I hurt for a reason. And that is, I have been promised freedom. And I don't know if you know what freedom is. And that's what I want to talk about. Because I know some of y'all in here just as tight as Dick's headband. But I'm not tonight. I know where I came from. And I do not want to go back there again. I know from whence I came. And I don't want to go back there again. When you find out that there is nobody there to hear your pain, When you finally wake up and discover that you're really all alone, that's the kind of pain I don't wish on nobody. And my only answer to that pain was suicide. And I didn't know about a God of my understanding, because every time I tried, somehow I would be discovered. I would go to a motel out in the suburbs and still somebody would find me. And it was like God was saying, not yet, my child, but I didn't know him. So I kept right on doing what I was doing until finally the numbness was so far in my body, in my life, I knew I had to get some help. There was a woman who told me, she said, Carmelita, you can come in here and get it together. But you know what you got to do? You got to surrender, folks. Surrender. Surrender. And I'm telling you, I gave it all to this program. I don't want none of my shit. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but they could have mine. I don't want to hold on to these character defects. I do not want to be what I was. And what I was nothing. So I give this program everything that I could possibly possess and some more. What I give to the program today is my gratitude, because I like to tell you that it's a different life as a recovering addict. What I say is exactly what I do. So you know what I did when I was on the street. I kind of gave it all up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The worst part about it was I didn't get no money for it. I just gave it away. And it got so bad out there, I'm going to tell you how it is when you wake up and you really don't know who you're with. First of all, you don't even know who you are. And you try so hard to kind of walk away from these situations like it doesn't bother you. And I had to go home and kind of clean myself up and get ready for my good old government job and sit there all day in pain and agony because I was so ashamed of what I had done the night before. When I come to this program, somebody said to me, welcome. Would you like a cup of coffee? And you can have a seat right over here. And the only thing I remembered after that was somebody saying, keep coming back. And they were talking directly to me. I didn't have anywhere else to go. Even today, I don't have anywhere else to go. When I go out of town, I go to meet you. It doesn't matter. This is my lifeline, and I care not to argue with anybody. You can be right, dead right, and I don't have no problem with that. My sponsor learned. She taught me a lot about how just to be who I am. And coming into this program, I have received so many blessings. You see, we hurt for a while in here because they tell us, don't get involved in no relationship. Listen now. I bet you y'all about 2 or 3 o'clock tonight you're going to hear some pain. Honey, I did not get involved 2.5 years down the road with a foundation in this program. I finally, began to feel things. I told Doreen I was really feeling better. And the first guy who said something to me, and I did have a trademark, all the guy had to do was say, hi, baby, and I was off to the races. And this guy said, if there was any woman that I would mess with in the program, it's you. And in about 15 minutes, we was in his house and taking care of business. And you know what? It didn't work, folks. I had what I needed, though. Some foundation in this program. I knew how to tell the truth. And I accepted the fact that this situation was not going to work. He just happened to be a married man. So y'all watch out in here. They do that too, The other thing that I know I need to mention is that when it comes to someone like me, I I went in every direction. When the men ran out, there was a woman. And I tried in every way I could to make that work. I tried so hard trying to make that work that I got all that materialistic stuff. You know, the house and the car and all this good stuff. And guess what? That didn't work. And we had to get rid of everything in order for me to start all over again emotionally and mentally. Because one of the problems I had was I didn't have any self-esteem. I didn't know how to just be okay with me. I needed you to say, Carmelita, you're all right. But I went through a lot of pain once again without using. And somebody would tell me every day that I talked to her. She said, Carmelita, it'll be all right. I made a commitment. From that point, I would not get involved until I found out who I really was. And there was a lot of work. They call it step work. When you get involved in the steps in this program, you don't have to really worry about what other people are thinking or even what they're saying. You do what is necessary to get you from point A to point B. And that's what I did. I have been very much involved in my life. I get involved with the women in this program. We do retreats. We do activities. I've come here to California on more than one occasion, and every time I've carried something home that we can use there. The miracle of women that you have here. That was a gift from California, and we got it going long and strong in Washington, D.C. And that is because I appreciate every gift from this program. So I don't have to worry anymore about what people are saying. I got involved in retreats because I needed to put my soul on the table. Women, we got to talk about how we feel. We know that we're outnumbered. And all of us are looking for the right guy. You know how the mamas tell you you're going to meet the right one and get married and live happy ever after? Don't believe them. It don't happen like that. It really, really don't. I haven't found the right one yet, but I have found the one that has made my life. I don't even know how to put it into words, but I found God. And a many nights, He has had to put His arms around me. He has had to do everything for me that I was unable to do for myself, and I trusted Him. He has allowed me to renew my relationships in this program. I have 2 daughters. One is absolutely perfect, and the other one is a dope fiend like me. And we have the same problems even to this day. But I'll take a stand. And I'm going back home once again to take a stand. Both of them in my house and the grandchildren. And I'm really thinking seriously, like letting them all go. Because I need a place for me now. So I don't have to be so tired all the time. But my children have been unable to let go of those years when I was in the street. No matter how many years I've been in this program, some of you need to understand your children may not forgive you. And my sponsor prepared me. She said, Carmelita, when it is time to make amends, God will let you know. I tried buying everything, finding the right house, looking at the right people, and nothing has worked. I know they love me. I know I love them. But we do not have a relationship like I would care for it to be. We're leaving out of the house. Instead of kissing the grandson, I would love to be able to kiss my daughter and know that she understands I love her. But that's not what's happening right now. And I have to go on, folks. It was in this program that they taught me how to go on. When my father died, 1 out of 7 children, Carmelita was the one who was there with him. When my mother died, Carmelita, the 1 out of 7, was with her. And after each died, there was a grandson born. And I tell people every day, I may not have been a mother, but I'm a damn good grandmother. The best you'll ever meet. In this program, there's so many things that we want to say. There's so many things we want to share with you, especially when we're here. But the lesson tonight is work for the freedom. Work towards the freedom. You don't know what it's like to be able to go anywhere, to be able to get on an airplane. And my first few flights were absolutely fear, unknown. But I went anyway. The first time they asked me to speak, I was petrified, but I spoke anyway. I have had so many opportunities here to do things for the first time. And if you don't have some freedom, you won't be able to do it. I can turn my back and walk away because I know I will have done what I was supposed to have done. And I try to give each that have allowed me to be a part of their lives the same lesson that I got. Let me tell you something about freedom. I don't think you know that much about it. You see, you can come to a room like this. Now, this all these bright lights and carrying on. I can't even see y'all like that. And I got to stand here. And you know what? I know I'm all right. God woke me up this morning, and guess what? I got the fuck up. I had to do my 4 steps. And I was able to share my fifth with a man. And the one thing that I had to talk about, of course, was sex. There was 2 other areas, and that was resentments and anger. But let me tell you how you can put all of those in one little basket, and it's called fear. Today, whether I'm afraid or not, I do what I have to do. I stand when I have to stand. I'll tell you about your stinking ass if I have to. My sponsor told me that it's important to make sure I don't go along with your stuff because I'll do some myself. So I'm here to tell you, ladies, and there's a few of them here in California, I really would like to get in an encounter group for about a half an hour. And I'd clean the whole mess right up. This is a life that's too precious to throw away. I believe having become an addict was God's message. I know that I'm here for a reason, folks. I should have died years ago. But God had something for me to do. And that freedom He's given me is to allow each of you to know me as I am. This little old girl who came from the country, didn't know nothing, had never been anywhere, didn't know what was going on in the world, but I had something I think at that time real special, and that was I cared about people, even as a child. I just didn't know how to care and who to care for. But I know who today, they say, you help a suffering addict every day. And I found a whole lot of suffering addicts, along with myself. So this program will give you the direction so you can move on down the road to the freedom. Now, one other thing I want to share with you. Women like us, and of course the men are here too, we got children out there. And we've got to get the families together. We've got to get the families together. We've got to stop turning our heads like we don't know what's going on. We need to make every possible opportunity available to talk to the children, to let them know that we are here. This program, I don't believe, was put together so that it could be enclosed in this building. I believe it was put together through the grace for us to take out beyond these doors. That's what I do. So that means that I have to walk like I talk, because you don't know what addict is looking right at you. They're all over. They're in the churches, folks, so you know they're everywhere else. And it's important that we be there. I love people. I love people to death. And maybe some days that's been my downfall. But I love them anyway. There are guys that I know that have given me the utmost respect because I no longer take them off into little closets. You know, I don't support them no more. I used to, kind of feed them and clothe them and do all that shit, so I could have one. But I don't do that today. And my sponsor said, Carmelita, both of us are going to be all right. And we really, really are. I have a purpose. My purpose, it is to go to meetings every day, to help another suffering addict, to share whatever it is I have. And a lot of times, all I have is a listening ear. Some days, I even have food to share. And I found so much love in this freedom. You see, I can go to the bowling alley and throw a ball down there and don't be worried about how many people looking under my dress, Sometimes, I've tried to do little activities, and I was dancing, but had to stop that shit. My back and leg won't let me do it now. But I tried, I know how to sit still. You hear me? Sit still. And that's the hardest thing for addicts to do. We are so busy going nowhere. And it's important to sit still. Believe me, if you are moving all the time, it is no way you're going to get the message. And I believe that's what a lot of us are missing now, the message of recovery. You got to come in here, sit your ass still, you ain't got nothing to say, wait till you get something before you try to give it away. This is what I was told. Don't worry about other women. If they got something you want, go up there and ask them. I had to get something done to these nails today. I asked, and I was taken, and I'm going to tell you, I might come back out here just to get my nails done. There's so much beauty within us when you open up that door and let God out. Some people talk about letting him in. He already in. You got to let him out. And you'll be able to do that once you give up all that garbage. Once you realize what your character defects are, like self-centeredness and fear and resentment, get that stuff out, because it ain't going to do nothing but bring you down. And when God comes out, there's a whole different new person. It is that kind of person that people don't mind shaking their hands. People don't mind, just like all of you do. You send me presents, cards. You're calling me from all over the United States. You have done so much for me, I would not live long enough to pay it back. And I know that about this program. I went to a little town called Fargo, North Dakota. I don't know where I was. It didn't matter. I saw the grace of God. It was 80 degrees one morning. And the next thing I knew, a wind blew and it was snowing outside. I said, by George, how did they live out here? I heard them got on that damn plane before it snowed too long. They asked me to come to a place called Modesto. I didn't know y'all had no country out here in California. I saw cows and horses. I said, oh my goodness. You see, it's all in what you do. All of us can talk till we drop dead. Until you do, what you got to do in this program, like do the steps, you're in trouble. And when those of us who have been here a little while and got some of this time, you better learn how to give it away, because God might come and take it from you. I think it's important. You just don't know what it's like when you can see yourself. See, I'm glad I had them women, because they kept me from getting in a lot of trouble. See, I'd sit back there and they went on, and then they'd come home and say, Carmelita, oh my God. I said, thank you. Thank you. I don't have to do that. The sponsee think they're getting the help. Oh no, I got it. And I got women that will attest to the same thing, honey. I've gotten plenty of help. The best help I've gotten has been from those of you who attend conventions like this, because it helps us to know that Narcotics Anonymous work. See, every one of you were really important for you to be here today, to be present, to be accounted for. Do you know how many of us is in here? Do you know it is safe somewhere tonight in California with all y'all in here? You ever think about that? Somebody is safe tonight. Sometimes in here, when you really begin to know about freedom, you will expand your horizon. You will go places. You'll read books. You'll take classes. You'll help other people. You'll do everything possibly you can do. And you know why? Because I want you to remember me. I really do. You know, I want you all to remember me. Whenever it's time, I want to know that you're going to be there for me. So I continue this work. Some of these folks in this room I really love, especially my baby B. She has been the daughter that I always wanted to have. And she waits on me hand and foot. She worries about my health. She's threatened to come to Washington. I met her through her husband, who was one of my first adopted children. And he had to come out here to do the work that he was supposed to do. But I was someone who lived on their sofa for many a day and night until they came out here. I want all of you to know that it's great to be alive. It feels great to be alive. It feels even better to know that for real I haven't done anything wrong today. You know? It feels so good not to have to look over my shoulder at one of those faces that I really couldn't remember. You ever been in a meeting and that guy looks like somebody you might know, you know, and you don't know whether to move to another side of the room or what to do? I don't know. I couldn't remember all of them. But today I don't have to worry about that. It says, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact. Do you know who your conscious contact is, folks? Other people. God ain't coming down here and touching every one of us. But he sends his messages through people. And you never know which one is coming through. You know that last little fella that walked up here? He may have the message for me, so don't turn your back on nobody. There are so many of us who have the virus. We don't turn our backs. I had one child who had 10 years in this program, and he went out like a man. And he shared till his dying day. He did not give up.
And my arms were always there for him. They're people just like us. And we know that's a part of the wound. Don't turn your back. Make room for them. They're coming here younger every day. They don't have the problem maybe you and I got. Maybe some of them just never had nobody to say, I love you. And we need to tell them we love them. Sometimes we make a lot of remarks that are not too nice. But I go to my knees if I can. The nights I cannot, I sit on the side of that bed and I ask God for his forgiveness. I don't bother people today, but sometimes I think things, you know. You ever think about choking your child till they can't talk? So I have to ask for forgiveness. And this is the part of that 11th step that is so important. People need to see us at peace. Unite, I don't know if you understand. They need to see you at peace. Most of us look just like we feel. And that's troubled all the time. So please, listen to the steps. Read the literature. It's not about no who blocked the block. You know, y'all do that tonight when they have that dance, you know. But while we in here with all these new people, they need the message. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, too, and get out of the way. But I just want y'all to know that this is incredible. Maybe they can come up with something else, you know, other than these bright lights and stuff, you know. You know, 'cause it's not that good. I always wanted to be a star, you know, like Susan Hayward. But I didn't make it that way. So I guess this is about what I'm going to get, huh? Okay. I have a couple of friends out there, and I mentioned Terry. I met him down in Florida, and the first night when they asked me to share, I really was petrified. And the only thing I knew how to do was just tell them what had happened the day that I came to Florida. My first flight, we had a bomb threat, and they did find a bomb. And then they told us, me and Brother Rick, they said, go ahead now, you can get on the plane. When we landed, oh no, we didn't land yet. When we were coming into Florida, right, it's a thunderstorm like I ain't never seen. And I'm scared to death of thunderstorms. And then when we get off the plane and go to where we're going to stay, these people got this dog standing tall as a pony. And I said, Brother Rick, oh no. And then when I get to the convention, I don't know nobody. And somebody says, Carmelita, telephone. And I said, oh my goodness. But God started it all for me. And this is what I want to say to you. Because of you, there's a song in my heart. Because of you, my life has had its start. Because of you, the sun will shine. The moon and stars will say you're mine forever and ever to part. I only live for the strength and hope you give. It's heavenly to know you're so near. Because of you, my life is now worthwhile, and I can smile because of you. Thank you.